Hey YouTube, it's Watachi again. Today I want to talk about three things. First thing being, seems like to me everybody sure has lost the copy or the knowledge to the Constitution of the Republic of the United States of America. Because that Constitution just seems to be something that floats around out here that everybody talks about, but nobody pays any attention to, you know. The fact that I hear all the time people saying, the Constitution gives me the right to do this, or the Constitution gives me the right to do that. The Constitution gives me freedom of speech. The Constitution gives me the right to bear arms. This just goes to show that everything they teach us in these public schools is lies or off the wall or just flat out crap. Because what I learned is that we get our rights come from our Creator. Now we have laws that we call that are common law that pertain to cases that have already been tried. You know, whether it be criminal, civil, or whatever. And the Constitution talks about criminal and civil law and those things. But for anybody to still think in this country that they get rights from the Constitution just proves how crappy our public school systems are. Because you don't get any rights from the Constitution of the United States of America. You don't get one right from that. It don't even talk about you. That Constitution that was originally put into place back in 1776 by our forefathers was put into place, first and foremost, is because they didn't trust each other enough, and they knew each other would hold powerful positions and could possibly be in a position to write laws or do things that could go against them. So they all got together and agreed upon these laws in the Constitution in order to protect themselves from each other. Now, it extended out to us as citizens of America, but it was mainly because they didn't trust each other. So you can guarantee though the laws they put in place was to protect themselves. And these laws that are stated in the Constitution are what binds the hands of the federal government. It gives the federal government a layout of what rights they have. That's like, you know, the Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms and cannot be infringed. That's telling the government that they cannot pass any laws that will stop us from having the right to bear arms. And arms doesn't just mean guns. Because when they put that law into place, that's why they made it the second one, the Second Amendment. It was put into place not for hunting, not for actually defending yourself against your neighbor. It was put into place to defend yourself from a tyrannical government. And in order for you to defend yourself from a tyrannical government, you would have to be able to possess the same weapons that the tyrannical government possesses in order to defend yourselves. That's why it says weapons, or the right to bear arms, I mean. Arms could be anything from swords and shields to handguns, rifles, automatic weapons. It could mean tanks, planes, helicopters, any kind of weapons that the military, the government of this country had. We have the right to those same weapons, or we would not be able to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. And they knew one day we would have to. And where are we sitting today, people? People still think that the Constitution gives them those rights. And that's just downright crazy. It's just downright crazy. Because we have more, as a free people, originally, we had the right to do just about anything we wanted to do, as long as we didn't harm somebody else's property, or do anything to stop the pursuit of somebody else's happiness. That's what freedom is, people. That's what freedom is. You know, if I choose to grow some weed out in my backyard and smoke some weed, then I have the right to do it, as long as I'm not harming anybody. If I choose to ride my horse or drive my car at 150 miles an hour, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, you shouldn't be able to stop me. That's what freedom is. Now, if I wreck my car into somebody and I'm doing 150 miles an hour and I kill somebody, or I destroy their property and hurt them real bad and they have a bunch of medical bills, yes, I'm responsible for that. If I don't have the money to replace the damage I've done, to pay them for the body, you know, if they were hurt physically and maybe lost a leg or something, if I don't have the money to repair, to pay them to try to make up for that, then yes, I should go to jail, go to prison, go to, you know, whatever it takes to see that I'm punished for that. You know, it goes as far back as, you know, we hold up Wyatt Earp as one of the heroes of our Western part of this country back in, you know, the 1800s, where he was a sheriff and he fought at the OK Corral, and we hold him up, and a lot of other sheriffs and sheriff deputies that did things back then that started what we're dealing with today. You know, when a sheriff back then, he didn't have to go through the legislation, get, you know, anybody to agree with him. He decided one day, because stupid cowboys were carrying guns into town, and they would shoot up the bar, or they would have shootouts between each other, they'd shoot each other, or whatever. He decided on his own that he had the power to decide that nobody'd be allowed to carry guns in town. Well, that's a violation of the Second Amendment in the Constitution, because it states we have the right to bear arms and it cannot be infringed upon. That means they cannot pass that law. That law was illegal and unconstitutional. And any laws that a state or a city or a county that get passed that contradicts the Constitution is null and void. So, when he basically went down, there that damn thing goes again. When he basically went down to, quote unquote, the OK Corral to arrest the cowboys for carrying guns inside city limits, he was basically committing a crime himself. Yeah, he thought he was protecting the city, and people backed him because they were scared of cowboys with guns and all that. But the bottom line is, the Constitution said those cowboys had the right to carry those arms. And he decided they didn't have the right. Well, people, that's why we have laws in this country. We have laws so that people can't take the law into their own hands and make it up as they go along. So, I mean, that made what the Earps and Doc Holliday did that day. It was literally an unconstitutional act, and they should have been arrested and charged with, if nothing else, actually the murders of those guys that they killed and their right violations. Their constitutional right violations. They should never have walked. And yes, people, don't get me wrong. We have to have laws. But you've got to stop somewhere with the lawmaking, because if you don't, then freedom goes right out the window. And I would much rather live with dangerous freedom than to live as what somebody else considers safely enslaved. I've talked about this before. There is so many laws being brought out by our Congress people and our senators and by the president. There's so many laws on the books already, and some of those laws should have been taken out years ago because it's against the law to spit on the sidewalk. It's against the law to ride a horse in town, although the cops are allowed to ride horses in town. You and I cannot ride a horse into town. We get ticketed for it, maybe even arrested. But there's a lot of laws that don't even pertain to today that should have been taken off of the record a long time ago. But they don't. They leave all these laws on the books. Just like I was talking about the other day in that ASU Law Library. 8 stories tall, 10,000 square foot per floor, and books after books after books on shelves after shelves after shelves. And all them books had who knows how many laws and regulations in them. That's a lot of laws and regulations. That was 20 to 25 years ago. But we want these people in Washington, D.C. to keep passing more. And even today, that shooting that happened in, I don't even know what country it was, here just a few days ago. And because of that shooting, not only is our people, our representatives, but even representatives of other countries are saying they're going to take the right to bear arms away from their people. And our Congress people and senators are working on something once again to take our rights to bear arms away from us. Because of a clown. Now, I don't even know if this shooting really happened because of all this fake crap they do anymore. We don't know if it's real or not real, especially when it happens in another country. But because of some clown in another country took a gun and killed a bunch of people, they're going to take my rights away from me. Now, I didn't kill nobody. I didn't shoot nobody. I didn't shoot my guns at nobody. But they're going to try to take my rights away, my Second Amendment right away from me because of some other clown. Well, people, if you look up the word traitor or treason. Either one of them words. What happened to that? What happened to those? I mean, especially back in 1776, if somebody committed treason or they considered somebody a traitor, they'd hang them. Or they'd put them in front of a firing squad. Today, we got people every day sitting in Washington, D.C. that are pushing legislation that can't be considered anything other than a treasonous act, or them being a traitor for even bringing it up, because they're trying to take away our rights. And that, as an American citizen, is treason. That does make them a traitor. But we all just sit back and let them do it. They're not only working on the Second Amendment, they're working on the First Amendment, freedom of speech. They've gotten it down to the point now that things I say in my videos is enough to keep me from being hired onto a job, or the right to certain things, because some people consider it hurts their feelings. Even though I'm supposed to be allowed to say whatever I want, whenever I want, whether it hurts your feelings or not. That's why they call it freedom of speech. Now, you can say what you want to, and, yeah, I get butthurt about it, but I ain't looking to plug your mouth. I'm not looking to stop you from saying it. Now, I might, if you come on my YouTube channel and you're calling names, calling everybody stupid when I'm trying to get you to prove your point, well, after you do that a couple times, I'll kick you off, but I'm not trying to shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it. So I send you on down the road and you can go talk that way to somebody else. It's just like if somebody don't like a stripper bar. Well, I don't go to stripper bars, but I'm not trying to tell anybody they can't do it or go in them. That if they want to go there, go ahead. I don't care. I don't go to the bars and drink liquor and beer. But that don't mean I want them places shut down. The only place I can even think of at this point that I want shut down that are all over this country is abortion clinics. And the only reason that is because they're murdering babies. And what they're doing with these body parts and these mutilated babies that they're pulling out, these women that are using it as birth control, is beyond me. But that's moral. That has something to do with being moral and morally wrong. But that's the only thing I can think of in this country that I want to keep or shut down. Keep from happening or shut down it. And that's because they are killing babies, lots and lots of babies every year. That's hard for me to believe, let alone live with. And I'll be honest with you, I can't stop it, but I can tell you this, any woman that does it will not get my respect. I don't want to be around them. They can go on down the damn road somewhere, because I have any want to even be near them. If they can do that to their own baby, what are they willing to do to me? And I don't need that kind of people around me. But we're sitting here allowing these politicians, and they pass laws, believe it or not, they pass laws that holds them above the law, to where they can do whatever they want and they can't be prosecuted for it. And you don't have to look any farther than Trump if you don't believe that. Trump swore up and down he was going to drain the swamp. He's going to have Hillary prosecuted for her crimes, her treasonous acts, her being a traitor while she held office. Her husband did the same things. Many of these politicians or servants of the people have done the same things. And they're held above the law. They can't be prosecuted. Just like cops. Just like cops. They have qualified immunity. And the reason why they're covered under qualified immunity is because there's so many laws out here. They're not expected to know all the laws. So if they make a mistake, all they have to cry is qualified immunity. If they arrest somebody or step on somebody's rights or anything like that, and all they have to cry is qualified immunity, and they get off scot-free. Scot-free. Even though most of the time they're stepping on your rights or anything, they know damn good and well they're doing it. Like their illegal searches, their illegal seizures, their illegal arrests, their illegal detainments. They're flat out trained in the police academy to lie, to try to trick you up, to get you to say something that's going to incriminate yourself. You can't have the people that you've given authority over you allowed to break the very laws that you are being held to. You can't have that, people, because all you're going to get out of it is corruption. You can't have these people allowed to steal your money, your wealth, your land, all these things, and let them get away with it where they can't be prosecuted for it, and expect them to do anything that's going to better your life in any way, shape, or form. Now, if we held them to the Constitution, then we wouldn't have to worry about what they're doing, because if they did something that went against the Constitution, if they're trying to pass a law that stomps on one of the amendments in the Constitution and we arrest them for treasonous acts or being a traitor, like selling weapons to our enemies, selling weapons, military-styled weapons, military-grade weapons to drug dealers down in Florida, i.e. Fast and Furious. These are treasonous acts, people. And if we arrested them, prosecuted them, and then promptly hung them by the neck until dead, we wouldn't be putting up with this crap today. But we don't. Matter of fact, even if we fire them, we still pay them for the rest of their lives. Some of these senators and Congress people and stuff, hell, we pay for the Secret Service to watch over them. We pay them $100 and some thousand a year when they retire for the rest of their lives. Free medical. I mean, hell, it's like they're royalty. That's why they think if they win an election like AOC, well, hell, she thinks she won the lottery. And guess what? Just ask her. She's the boss. What she says goes. Just ask her. She ain't got no sense. She just blurts out crap and thinks it can just be done no matter how much it costs, no matter how much, whose rights it takes away. She wants to stop farting cows, people. Stop farting cows. That's how ridiculous this stuff has gotten. And out of control. We no longer have control, people. We the people no longer have control of nothing. But everybody wants to sit around and brag about we're land of the free and home of the brave. Land of the free and home of the brave. I can't even believe those words still roll off the lips of anybody that lives in this country. I can't even believe we're having problems with thousands and thousands of people coming up from South America, and who, Lord only knows where all these people are coming up through that southern border to try to get in here and become an American citizen, or actually a U.S. citizen, because you have more freedoms as an illegal than you do as a citizen of the United States. You're enslaved to the Federal Reserve as soon as you become a citizen of the United States. And the sad thing is that's a better situation than where most of these people come from. But we're spreading democracy all around the world because democracy is so great. No, people, freedom. Freedom is what's great. Freedom. Sometimes you got to fight for freedom. I don't know, people. Only thing I can say is the longer we sit around and do nothing, the worse it's going to get. This 5G's coming up here. We don't know where that's going to lead. AI technology, we don't know where all that's going to lead. But you guys better better damn sure believe that it ain't going to lead to you having more freedoms. It's all going to lead to less freedoms for you. They're going to be able to track you every time you take a dump. They're going to be able to track you every time you walk across the street to your neighbor's house. They already can, but this 5G is going to give them more power than they've ever had. You can damn sure believe that. Well, that's my rant for today, people. May God bless us all, because we're going to need it. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to. Have a nice day.